Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso@the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we're discussing a standard bearer for a long-running tradition of micro-rotor perpetual calendar Patek Philippe complications. In the tradition of the great 3940, this is the 5140, a timepiece in rose gold, 37 millimeters in diameter, nice and slim at 9.1 millimeters thick, and from lug tip to lug tip, 45.5 millimeters, with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now, the watch you see right here is verifiably from the 2009 and a half period through 2011. I'll talk about why that is in a moment, but there's some markers of age that can allow you to spot these in the wild. It's a very easy watch to wear, and on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, you could see that it is profoundly easy to live with. In fact, I could recommend this for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. So I'm pulling it a little tight because the strap is still fresh, it hasn't been broken in. But this would wear well on a lady's wrist or a man's. And as you can see, the consummate dress watch sliding easily underneath a low-cut long sleeve. Taking a look at the strap, high grade, exactly what you would expect on a flagship Patek Philippe product. We have large rectangular scale alligator leather with symmetrical scales, an expensive cut of the beast. Pull tab spring bars so you can pop the strap off the case without tools. You can see calfskin on the bottom, no crimping, no gouging. We've got a little bit of bolstering. We've got a sheer cut edge that's lacquered for refinement with a monotone stitch and a single fold Patek Philippe deployant clasp. You have the Calatrava Cross, the logo of the company on the buckle, and then internally you can see that there is a circular spring that makes this friction fit system a little bit more secure than your average friction fit system. The case is beautiful and fluid. You can see it's sexy with precious few straight lines, really just the inner faces of the lugs and nothing else. It's all compound curves, sinuous and sleek. We have a little bit of a countersink to the crown, and that's a nice aesthetic trick so it doesn't stick out too far. Pusher adjusters, because this is a traditional multi-setting grand lever perpetual calendar. We have the Calatrava Cross on the crown as well, and a dial with a lovely brown bronze sunburst metallic polished dart style indices of differing sizes used to read the hours. We have polished Dauphine-style hands at center for hours and minutes. Perpetual calendar with coaxial registers for the leap year and the month, the moon phase and the date, and we have the day, and then you can see the little white lacquered hand, the 24-hour go, no-go indicator. So you want to make sure that primarily during the PM hours, you don't use the pusher adjusters for the calendar. That is why the 24-hour dial is there. Now, it's a perpetual calendar, which means it does not need to be touched until the year 2100. Leap years, irregular length months, not a problem. You can see that each of the registers is somewhat sunk with a little bit of an azurage or concentric pattern at the center of the two flanking registers. And the moon phase, being a perpetual style moon phase, doesn't need to be touched after it's set for 122 years. So we have a snap case back, but like most Patek Philippe dress watches, 30 meters water resistant, sufficient for rain or splashing, but not for submergence. Micro rotor caliber 240, originally debuted back in 1977, and it's long been the upscale automatic at Patek. Generally, the center rotors are used on the more numerous watches that are more voluminously produced, whereas the micro rotor tends to be reserved for things like perpetual calendars and complications. So the 22-karat mass, which sits on ceramic bearings, energizes a 48-hour power reserve that beats away at 3 hertz or 6 beats per second. We have a free-sprung gyromax-style balance for precise adjustment in 5 regulated positions. That is the high horology and chronometer standard. All of this pivoting on 27 jewels. And the perpetual calendar system, all the modular elements are on the dial, so you can't see them on the reverse side. But I mentioned the era of this watch, and so I can see it has the Patek Philippe seal, which was phased in right around midsummer of 2009. But then if I look, I can also see that this has a ferrous or non-silicon hairspring, and the silicon hairsprings were phased in approximately after 2011, right around 2012. So you could see it was between the introduction of the Patek Philippe seal, but before the silicon hairspring. Charting the changes, we have stripes or Côte de Genève across the bridges. We We have polished bevels along with polished jewel sinks. We have mirror-finished screw heads, a beautifully tight and concentric engine turning on the base plate, pegwood engine turning. You can even see that the locating pegs to place the balance cock on the underlying plate, those have been mirror polished on their top, so finely finished and deeply attractive. If you love this Patek Philippe Perpetual calendar, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability details.